Good evening, folks, and welcome aboard another live production of the Canadian eMotorsports Network here on YouTube and on the iRacing platform for more Season 5 of NASCAR Series action powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Last week, we were at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina on the East Coast of the United States, and now we're back traveling to the West Coast, but this time, we're taking a first-time trip over to the state of California, right on the West Coast in the Sonoma Mountains. We're here in Sonoma, California at the virtual Sonoma Raceway. It is round 8 of 22 for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 at Sonoma Raceway, the first NASCAR Series race there since 2021. It's been a couple years, but we're finally back, and no better way to come back than do it on the iRacing platform after all those years back in the, I guess we'll call it the quote-unquote infamous console era. But with all that being said, in the that's not the right button. In the commentary booth, as per usual, from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, you're hearing his voice. It's Regan MacAulay. And on the other side, he's been here since the very beginning. It is from the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada, Jordy Carher back with us once again. Tandem back at it again for the third season in a row. And now we'll go, I guess we'll say, instead of track side, we'll go broadcast side here. And yeah, that explains why I made a certain password with certain words.
Yeah, let's just get it out of our system now. I mean, I may have done that in a separate 25-minute YouTube recording if you happen to get into that particular dark corner of the internet, but let's find some happier ground here to work on, and yeah, let's focus on this.
Well, the playoffs are done. Gotta get rid of the beard.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say I can't grow it that fast.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
No,
But
it's pre-existing.
Yeah. But anyways, continuing on with our coverage here, we're starting off with a bit of a quick recap of last week's race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, being the GSG Vianel 3D 150, the second year in a row where the series raced at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The number 97 the number 97 U.S. Air Force Toyota driving for Tornado Alley E-Racing from Asheville, North Carolina. Ty Higginbotham gets the win at North Wilkesboro Speedway, his 10th career win in the series and his second win of the season, his first non-superspeedway win in the iRacing era, because previously he has won. He won the GTR 250. He also won the Daytona regular season finale last year. Finally gets a win on a non-drafting track, none other than North Wilkesboro Speedway. The third week in a row where we had a home state winner. We had Adam Wilson back at Dover, Delaware. We have Higginbotham, and the other one was Jared Ireland at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. So the last 3 weeks have certainly been unbelievable. We got some hometown heroes. That's kind of the headline that we've gotten for the past couple weeks, as you see some of the top 10 results of the all full results here of the second annual GSG Vinyl 3D 150. Jordan Kalinian, the rookie, finishing in the runner-up position. Corbin MacAulay rounding out the podium. Kyle Knoll with his first top 5 finish since exactly June 6th of last year at Michigan. So it's been a long time coming for that guy. It's been a lot of bad luck ever since then. A couple top 10 finishes, but finally gets inside the top 5 for the first time in forever. And fingers crossed for him that momentum will keep him up and going, especially with the fact that he still holds that 12th and final playoff spot at the moment. And Jordy, somehow, after all the chaos that we had in North Wilkesboro last week, you can certainly attest to that. There are many ways we could describe last week's old school, classic, chaotic wreckfest short track race, however you want to put it. But then I see Adam Wilson, who won both stages last week, and then CD Magram in 9th, and of course Higginbotham winning. Tornado Alley E-Racing somehow, all 3 cars finishing inside the top 10, 7 weeks in a row, and yet Wilson and Magram were involved in countless incidents last Tuesday, and yet all 3 of them still managed to keep the streak going. Holy moly, they have been at the top of the headlines and storylines throughout 7 rounds so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with the consistency up and down that particular lineup, right? Like, we've seen, again, Wilson and Higgy with a 3 victories combined now. Mangrum obviously knocking on the door pretty much every time. Matter of fact, last week was the first time he wasn't top 5 this season. So that tells you the crazy run he's had to start this year. And it feels like, again, it's just kind of a matter of time for the number 1 to step on to the top step of the podium. But you know what? They've kind of established themselves as, again, that most consistent trio in the field. And, you know, as a group, obviously, individually, there's a couple of different names that pop into the equation as well. But you know what? In the regular season, it still works. And, you know, we still have 8 races to go before we get to the playoffs, where ultimately it's every driver for themselves. But right now, the Tornado Alley formula is working.
Absolutely it is. And now we take a look here at the driver standings. Do note that based on the graphic, the weekly graphic that we show on our social media pages and here throughout our live broadcasts as well when recapping the previous race, the graphic goes off of playoff drivers that already have locked a playoff spot. They've locked themselves into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. And then we go in order of all the guys that still have yet to win a race, but they are still right in that playoff picture, and it's pretty much remained about relatively the same for the past week or two. Not a whole lot of maneuvers. I mean, you got, again, we were talking about CD Mangrum. He is well on his way to making the playoffs, unless there's absolute catastrophe within the next couple of rounds up until June 20, or July 9th, I should say, at Darlington, because again, Rockingham hosts the regular season finale June 25th. But again, 5 spots still are locked in, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 spots still remaining to decide the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoff field, of course. And again, as I was talking about, Kyle Knowles still holding firm onto that spot. The gap was a little bit closer within for the past couple of weeks, but Knoll was able to extend that gap just a little bit. Now at, I believe I am reading, 16 points. There's actually, as a matter of fact, there's a tie for 13th right now with Trevor Binns and Charlie Sears, a pair of rookies trying to chase after that sophomore there in 12th. So again, there is a bit of a gap that has started to spread here within the past week or so here in the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. But of course, I don't know if we would say early per se, like there's still plenty of rounds left to go. But again, time is winding down. Again, we're heading into our 8th round here tonight. Time is ticking, Jordy.
Pretty much the halfway point tonight. Yeah. So
exactly.
This is where, you know, quite literally, without getting too cliche here, the pedal's got to kind of hit the metal here if you're on the outside looking in at this point.
Indeed. So Charlie Sears was originally 15th, but he jumped up 2 spots, so that now he's in that tie with Trevor Binns. Jared Ireland, thank goodness, is locked in with a playoff spot, considering some of his little bit of inconsistency so far this season, and the fact that we're apparently not going to see him until the end of the month because of apparently a vacation. And Steve Escoffier is another guy who we haven't seen yet since Las Vegas, so fingers crossed we might be able to see him participate in another race at some point. But moving on from there, we'll get into kind of hard to say the rookie point standings. It's just kind of the way we've been doing it all this time, so trying to keep things consistent. We could call it the newcomer point standings, considering the fact that someone like Jordan Kalinian here, who got the best finish out of all the newcomers last week, Kalinian has shown a lot of speed so far, especially in last night's little practice session that we had here at Sonoma Raceway. He has shown a lot of speed on the road courses. Quite frankly, he got his first career win at Circuit of the Americas just a couple weeks ago. Adam Wilson's still holding firm on that points lead, though, with man, oh man, has he been ever consistent this season. I mean, he's qualified top 5 in 6 of 7 starts. He's finished top 5 in 4 of those 7 starts as well. So again, about 15 points separating them. Still quite the battle going on there. I mean, it's quite the gap, though, if you look back towards the bottom end of the quote-unquote rookie podium and onward from there. So what do you got for that, Jordy?
I mean, kind of like we're seeing in the overall point standings, there is a little bit more. Well, obviously the separation is just that much more heightened from second to tie for third. The fact that we're already over 100 points difference, we're starting to see, you know, the cream of the crop really start to rise. And like, I feel bad for Mason Tomlinson down there in 7th. I mean, If that dude didn't have bad luck, he would have no luck at all. I feel like he'd probably be kind of comfortably in third if things went a little more in his favor over the last few weeks. But you know what? I think it still goes to show that there's plenty of talent in the field. And I mean, you look at a guy like Trevor Binns, he was running in the top 5 there for a little bit at North Wilkesboro last week. So, you know, there's potential for him, right track, right situation. He could still make some noise.
Indeed so. So now we move on, of course, from all the action North Wilkesboro Speedway. Here is the schedule. As tonight's race is the first one of a 4-race month here in the month of May. Of course, tonight, May 7th, being at Sonoma, and then we have kind of our quote-unquote half Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte next week on May 14th with the Piping Kettle 300, and then we go to Iowa Speedway for some more short track action, Nashville Super Speedway to conclude the month, but all the focus is here tonight at Sonoma Raceway, of course, and we got a hot lap video as per usual with that's the way it's gonna be for every road course race here this season. We had one back at Circuit of the Americas. So here's some very quick live commentary from Jordy, a hot lap around Sonoma, because the qualifying session here, about 10 or 15 minutes or so, is just about to begin. So we have to quickly get through this. But Jordy, explain a lap here at Sonoma.
All right, the future maybe. It's Sonoma Raceway, the track I know everybody's looking forward to, right? No? Just us? Okay.
Who knows?
Anyway, this is the shoot layout, and I know.
Unfortunately, it looks like Jordy had a technical issue with the absolute worst time. So we're going to have to wait on him now just for a little bit for whenever he gets back. Absolutely awful timing there as the qualifying session here at Sonoma is now getting underway. So fingers crossed if we can get him back in here, then... Okay, you back?
What a time for the internet gremlins, eh?
Yeah, we'll go back. Fingers crossed you'll be able to get through this. So keep going.
Yeah, that was such a weird start to it. I guess maybe I angered YouTube gods, but I only the Bangarang Hard Seltzer. But it's this almost never-ending uphill climb from turn 2, which should take right about now, about 55 miles an hour. Good exit, super important here. Coming into turn 3 in the 3A, this is 3. Climb in 3A, and as you'll see on the exit, you know, you can slide a little bit. So car control is going to be crucial as you make your way into turn up 4A. And we're bypassing. We take a wide entry into turn 7A. And now, we come into those technical cars to start to make our way through the Nescas here at Sonoma, officially turn 8. But it just looks like a snake. That's really low. Whatever that means. But this was Earl Ross turn 9. Check the elongated left-hander, quick right into 10. Then we get onto a mini straight. You got your pit lane entry on the left-hand side right about now. And now you're greeted by a super tight hairpin. You're down to about 40 miles an hour. Pretty heavy brake application going in. And the reward for getting it right, again, is that little burst of speed on the start-finish straight. And that completes the lap here. Riggs, back to you.
Tragically, that whole time, I think I completely forgot to turn the volume down on the video itself.
These things happen.
Well, hopefully the audience was able to hear that in some capacity. Ouch.
Well, I was gonna say we'll see if the YouTube comments decide to absolutely destroy us for that.
I mean, we can literally go back at any time and quickly do that if we have to, in case. But anyways, what we do have to get to is the fact that we have a qualifying session here underway.
Yeah, we're not the show up here. The drivers are. Let's remember that. So yeah, no need to go back.
Indeed so. So there's the number 17, Corbin MacAulay, currently your leader in what is a 15-minute qualifying session here for the third annual Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110. Round 8 of a 22.
Yeah, seems like he's got a nice, solid exit out of there. Let's see if he improves on the time. And yeah, no change.
Although Kalini and Sears overtook him anyways.
Well, still 10 minutes left in the session. Ooh, into the buck 15s though. It's a hot lap from the 0.
Yeah, last night's little private practice session, it was I believe a 116 was the best time. So we're seeing a couple of guys now dipping into the 115s. So a lot of practice and experience has helped these guys gain a little bit of some faster tenths, hundredths, thousandths.
And I mean, I've been thinking about this one for the last couple of days as we see Charlie Sears up in second. Of course, the track formerly known as Sears Point. Maybe Sears is trying to make a point here tonight in the rookie standings and, you know, maybe trying to jump the field a little bit and grab one of those playoff spots. Maybe this is the night.
It's been a solid rookie campaign for Sears thus far, again, coming off a 2023 IndyCar Dart Series championship, of course. Absolutely dominated the season. Give me that number of how many wins he got? Like in 7 or 8?
IndyCar season?
Yeah.
I want to say 8. I don't have it right off the top of my head, but it's somewhere in that ballpark.
Looks like it was 6.
Well, I mean, we're overly optimistic here, I guess.
Suppose so there, but yeah, thus far for Sears, again, he's got 1 pole so far this season. He's qualified 6th or higher in the last 4 races, including that pole at Kansas. Has gotten 2 top 10s thus far, 1 top 5 at Phoenix. At Circuit of the Americas, he qualified 5th. Unfortunately, finished 12th, had a little bit of a luck go against him towards the end.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a guy that, you know, we expected to start a little bit slower, but then eventually find it as the season progressed. Pretty much as expected here in terms of, you know, pure pace anyway. As you say, luck may not have always been on the Charlottesville, Virginia native side, but, you know, he's showing that he belongs here. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Absolutely, and he, again, on the open wheel side, certainly proved that with the 6-win season and championship last year in IndyCar, and now here on the stock car side, obviously learning lots, but is beloved by everybody here within the community.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, he's always been the kind of guy, whenever there's been a tip or a trick available for a track or the limited setup adjustments that can be made, Charlie Sears has been the guy to share them. Well, between him and Jordan Kalinian coming in as well, and of course Corbin MacAulay doing some of that as well. But, you know, Sears, again, from the opening moment, like really the first time we saw him in the series, he's been that guy, and, you know, to have his input, I think that's really helped elevate the overall product in the short time that he's been with us.
Indeed so, and here's the previous road course winner, so the only one so far this season, back at Circuit of the Americas, Jordan Kalinian, the number 0 Toyota from Salisbury, North Carolina. 0-0 on iRacing, but we officially have him as number 0.
Yeah, ran a little wide, to say the very least, into the hairpin at the end of that lap. I don't know if he would have been on a pace to better his current time anyway, but he's still the man to beat at the top of the board, so Kalanian, he's looking comfortable here, and perhaps we shouldn't be surprised as we see a little bit of wiggle out of 4, and O'Toole doing the same.
Kalanian certainly hefts himself up there in the top 5 of a couple notable stats. He's got the 5th best average start of everybody. He's just outside the top 5 for average finish. Again, consistency still could be a little bit better, but obviously still there. Couple top 5s, couple top 10s in there. I mean, so far there's only four. There's 4 drivers, a 4-driver group that still has yet to not score a top 10 yet this season. Ty Higginbotham, C.D. Mangrum, Corbin MacAulay, and Adam Wilson have gotten a top 10 in every single round thus far. 7 top 10s in 7 races. At some point, those streaks have to break. I don't know with who or where or whatever, but at a track like Sonoma here, very much possible. Again, we got Charlotte next week too. A race of... I mean, we know how it went last year.
Yeah, I mean, that one's pretty much just a war of attrition. That's how that one's going to go. And, you know, as it looks like, yeah, Kalanian did take a couple of tenths off his best time. But obviously, this being a 2-mile, it's not your conventional 2-mile, of course. It's, you know, your road course layout. So it's not like it's going to be door-to-door everywhere you go. Like, yeah, it's a similar amount of asphalt whenever you're on the track as Mangrum goes off the track, or was that Knoll? I can't tell from the top. Oh, Mangrum. Okay, I got the one. Anyway, the point I was making is that, you know, road courses, they tend to afford a little bit more room to actually race. So, you know, if you're able to get into a groove early, you kind of dictate your own pace, dictate your result, and hey, could be a good night for some of these guys here, and there's a few guys who need it.
And again, with some of those finishes that have been up and down for someone like Kalanian as well, he's tied with Jared Ireland for the second most stage wins this season with 3. Corbin MacAulay so far having the most with 4. Kalanian has led the 3rd most laps out of anybody. I mean, go figure, Corbin MacAulay being at the top of that one. Adam Wilson 2nd place. Kalanian right in there behind. Wilson, MacAulay are the only 3 drivers with over 100 laps led out of anybody. Ireland is 6 laps short. C.D. Mangrum is 49 short. So for someone like Kalanian again, too, he's really taken advantage of stage points, playoff points as well, especially with that win back at Circuit of the Americas. And with him still being at the top of the board here in qualifying, he's looking to, you know, kind of keep that up and continue to be the dominant road course driver here. Thus far, I see a couple familiar names in terms of past open wheel and road course experience. Guys like Darcy Ford, Andy Hurdle, Mike Marini, 5th through 7th in there. Kyle Nolan, 9th. He's, again, trying to keep up the momentum from last week's finish in a chaotic North Wilkesboro race. Nice to see rookie Bryce Fontaine in the 10th spot, looking to rebound from an early incident that eliminated him early in North Wilkesboro last Tuesday, a wreck with Jared Ireland in turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is race 3 for Bryce Fontaine with us, and, you know, he's pretty much been thrown into the gauntlet here, so to speak. He didn't really get that easing in period that most of the other drivers got, save for, you know, Chase Beatty when he made his comeback 1 week earlier. But yeah, pretty much thrown into the deep end, and, you know, top 10 run here in qualifying. 22 might be getting comfortable here.
So Kalanian, MacAulay, Sears still maintain that top 3 as someone goes around in front of Fontaine. They may have, quote-unquote, respawned there already, so wouldn't have been able to tell. Looking further down the board, Jose Mercado is so far just outside the top 10. Ty Higginbotham, notably, only back there in 14th, so far hasn't been An ideal session here for Higginbotham thus far, with only what looks to be a best time of a 119.316, so a couple seconds off of the leaders. A 115.5 so far has been the best time out of anybody.
Yeah, you've only got, after Kalinian, you only have 2 other guys within a second of him, so this is where you definitely start to see some gaps in terms of the different track formats, as we see Tomlinson having a bit of a moment there.
So now into the final minute here of this qualifying session for the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110. Not a whole lot of changes so far. It looks like Kalinian is about to enter his final lap. MacAulay looks like he'll be getting to it as well. Sears is going to, right behind him. Looks like they're going to get there in time. So this final minute will be where it matters the most. We'll see if any of these guys can catch up to Kalinian's time. MacAulay just about half a second behind.
Yeah, and then Sears still in the ball game here with a 16.290. But yeah, just kind of one more shot at it here as the that says, oh no, it is zeros. Okay, so yeah, one last lap here for them to try and make a further impression up the grid.
So yeah, it looks like this is going to be 5 rounds in a row where Sears is going to qualify 6th or higher. So the low qualifying streak of his continues. It's just a matter of if he can kind of keep a similar, finish with a similar number as well. Kind of have a little bit more luck after again qualifying 5th back at Circuit of the Americas, but then the finish was a little.
I mean, where you finish is what matters most. Sears is just going to bail after finishing that lap. And yeah, I don't think he improved on the time. No, he didn't.
That's an aggressive official.
I was going to say, I need that guy's cardio. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I think you kind of painted me into a corner when I made a comment on the arm motion before.
Indeed.
Yep, so that's where that's going to stay.
So looks like the driver that was the best in practice last night is going to be the best in qualifying as well. If we count both sessions, we'll see if the number 0, Jordan Kalinian, can pull off a triple here at Sonoma Raceway. So all the cars are going to line up here, and we'll hear these engines get fired up for some more road course racing here within the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. It's round 8 of 22 here in Season 5. So I'll go into race control, give these guys a quick message when they all fill in and pop up in the grid, and we'll get going here in Sonoma, California. Stay tuned. So the engines have been fired up here on the front straightaway at Sonoma Raceway. No surprise at who is at the front of the grid there. And we'll introduce the cars and stars of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, starting on the front row. No surprise whatsoever. These guys have been fast through practice and qualifying between last night and tonight. The number 0, Jordan Kalinian, the Toyota from Salisbury, North Carolina, starts in first. Alongside him, we have the number 17, Chevrolet, sponsoring Kawasaki and Bulger Motorsports from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. It is veteran Corbin MacAulay, your overall points leader. Moving on to row 2, where we have the number 32 of Charlie Sears for 499 Racing from Charlottesville, Virginia, looking to keep up his recent momentum and maybe improve on the road course finishes, especially after what happened back at Circuit of the Americas. Alongside him, we have the number 1 Toyota for Tornado Alley E-Racing from Atlanta, Georgia, still looking for that first win of the season. He is very long overdue for it. It is CD Magram.
All right, now we round out the top 5 with another day 1 bet out of Harrington, Prince Edward Island. It's the number 64 519 E-Racing Chevy of Darcy Ford. And he'll have a teammate alongside him. The number 7 Chevy of Andy Hurdle out of Dayton, Ohio, draws the 6th grid slot here tonight. Moving on now to row 4, and we've got another day 1 driver, this time the number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. And then we head to the guy who won a couple weeks ago at Dover. We head to Laurel, Delaware. The number 21 Tornado Alley Racing Toyota of Adam Wilson. He starts 8th.
Rounding out the top 10, coming off a top 5 finish last week, the number 15 Toyota for Storm Surge Esports from Wendell, North Carolina, it is Kyle Knoll. And how about this, in just his third career start here in the NASCAR Series, the number 22 Chevrolet for Bryce and Jim Motorsports from Laverne, Tennessee, Bryce Fontaine, with a top 10 qualifying result. And now just outside the top 10, we have the number 97 Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota from Asheville, North Carolina. Last week's winner in North Wilkesboro Speedway, it is Ty Higginbotham, looking for his first road course win within the iRacing era. Alongside him, this guy's also had plenty of momentum, has gone a little bit under the radar. Perhaps the number 41 Ford for GTR from Kissimmee, Florida, Jose Mercado.
Moving on to row 7 now, and starting in 13th will be the number 6 of Justin Belmonte. Let me grab his hometown, Holtsville, New York, driving for GTR as well. Then we head back to Eudora, Kansas, where we find the number 4 Chevy of Mason Tomlinson. He'll start 14th. On to row 8 now, and we've got the number 9 Toyota of Jason Heaney out of, Altoona, Wisconsin. He'll start 15th. And we stay in Wisconsin, where we find Tom Janikowski in the number 93 Chevy. He's from Appleton. He starts 16th.
Rounding out the rest of the field, the number 77 Ford of Hunter Young for GTR from St. Catharines, Ontario, will start 17th. Chase Beatty, the number 25 Ford for GTR from Loudon, Tennessee, starts alongside him in 18th. The number 33 Toyota of Trevor Binns for Koopa's Racing from Winter Haven, Florida, will start we'll start in row 10 there, 19th. Alongside him, the number 10 519 E-Racing Chevrolet from London, Ontario, Jason Butler. Rounding out the top 20, and to round it all out in 21st and 22nd, we have the Koopa's Racing owner and the number 80 Toyota from Georgina, Ontario. It is Mark Ouellette. Alongside him, the number 16 Chevrolet of rookie Ryan O'Toole from Portland, Oregon. What should we expect, Jordy?
Well, I think we're about to find out. We'll see what this outside line looks like. It looks like Kalinian got a pretty good jump here as we go to the green, though.
The Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 at Sonoma is underway.
Yeah, Kalinian just absolutely nailed the timing off of that start. It's almost predictable, isn't it? You just have the hairpin right there. Just have to absolutely launch it, and that's what Kalinian did. And look at that. His gap's almost already a second.
We'll see how the race shakes, how far he's able to pull ahead, and then again, we still have to think about the fact that there are 3 stages and maybe 1 or 2, I would imagine probably 2 fuel windows on my best guess.
Well, we were told the fuel window's about 16 to 19 laps. Maybe, there we go, remind the viewers of what our stage lengths actually are.
So 55 lap race 110 miles, I guess, based off the race name, of course. Stage 1 will be 13 laps, Stage 2, 17. Final stage will be 25 laps to the checkered flag. Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. The fuel window at 16 to 19 laps. The pit road entry is just coming up right here in turn 11. You want to talk about how pit road works here at Sonoma, Jordy?
Well, I was going to say, I was a little bit unclear on that, but we did get some instruction, a bit of a reminder, as a matter of fact. The actual pit lane limiter isn't until the turn itself, so you can approach pit lane pretty quickly, but it's not like an immediate hard limit, as we see Hunter Young having a bit of a moment here.
So trouble for the number 77 Ford from St. Catharines, Ontario. We might as well take a look at what may have happened here. And just loose off the corner.
Yeah, I thought he had it there in the Merrittville Speedway, number 77, but yeah, just it didn't look like a touch off the inside wall or anything like that. Just, yeah, as you say, lost it for a second. Now, speaking of second, we've got some movement for that position.
So yeah, Charlie Sears move up to the second spot, like almost right off the bat, right off the start. So a pair of rookies leading the way, and then a pair of veterans in third and fourth, and MacAulay and Ford, CD Mangrum rounding out the top five. Judging by the qualifying results and where everybody is now, Mangrum and Ford swap spots. Hurdle Marini still maintain where they're at. It looks like we have movement back here. Jose Mercado getting past Bryce Fontaine off of turn 11. Fontaine might have had a bit of a moment there.
Yeah, not quite as severe as what we just saw with Hunter Young, I don't think. But yeah, it's enough for Mercado to get by. He's obviously going to be a guy that, well, looks like he already had the move made in the hairpin. But Fontaine trying to defend just, yeah, didn't have the grip to fight back.
Looks like Jason Butler just got past Mark Ouellette for the 19th spot. I think Ouellette might have had he might have overtaken him there, but then Butler got it back. He's carrying the Bangarang Hard Seltzer paint scheme on his number 10 519 eRacing Chevrolet. It's literally, oh
Whoa!
No, trouble for him. He goes spinning off the corner there.
Check him. What's he got inside?
It took me a couple seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, product placement has its limits, gentlemen. Meanwhile,
so Darcy Ford and CD Mangrum might have a potential battle brewing here for the fourth spot. Again, Ford overtook it there in the first couple laps. The number one trying to get back at him. These two still have yet to win a race this season, but man, oh man, have they ever been kind of on the bubble occasionally. There'll be a week where Ford is, a week where Mangrum is, but Mangrum, the number one, certainly has. I mean, it's amazing how consistent, how fast he's been every week, and he's been right there on the brink of potential wins every now and then, but just like he's creeping closer and closer. It's just, I feel like he might be the kind of guy where it's like, it just has to be the perfect timing. It has to be that one race where it's like, it has to go absolutely perfect for him, like a whole race. Like in North Wilkesboro, for example, like it wasn't even close to that, but he was still able to get lucky there at the end. Like, Jordy, you remember how many times he was the culprit of a couple stuff.
and I was only here for half the race, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Like, let's remember that side of things. But yeah, I saw more than enough to know that, yeah, Mangrum, that car was, and I love using this particular line, that car was especially mangled by the end of the night.
Bryce Fontaine dropped a couple spots there behind Higginbotham and Belmonte. Mason Tomlinson might be trying to overtake as well. Jason Butler with trouble in turns 6 through 7.
Yeah, just couldn't, well, yeah, without the benefit of replay, which I guess we could get right about now, we'll just, yeah, obviously not pointing in the right direction, but yeah, just out of turn 7A there. Just, yeah, lost it. I maybe tried to apply the throttle a little bit too quickly, because if you remember from the hot lap, there were definitely varying throttle levels that we saw. Butler just might have been a little bit too trigger happy.
Potential issue for the number 80 of Mark Ouellette. Spun off of 11.
Yeah, I was going to say, not exactly, well, maybe just doing the gentlemanly thing and being aware of guys behind him who are at speed and not wanting to be in the way there, if I had to guess.
So yeah, again, going back to what we were talking about there with C.D. Magrum, his finishes thus far this season. Where are you?
Well, as I say, outside
go.
of last week, he'd been top 5 every week.
Yeah, almost, well, top 10 exactly every week, not top 5, but
well,
yeah,
I was saying before Wilkesboro, he had been top 5.
Well, yeah. But so far, his overall finishes this season have been 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 3rd, and 9th. Qualifying, on the other hand, a little less ideal. Still solid. Only he's qualified outside the top 10 once, which was 11th back at Phoenix. But man, oh man, like, I was talking about some statistics earlier relating to like top 5, top 10. Okay, we have some movement here. Kyle Knoll, potential trouble off of turn 5. Looks like Jordy had a bit of a technical gremlin there again, another disconnection. But anyways, back to what I was saying there with C.D. Magrum. Adam Wilson might have had an issue there off of 11. Magrum, when we look at some of the notable stats here so far this season, Magrum has the 4th best average start with a 6.7. He's got the 3rd best average finish with a 4.1. He's tied with Corbin MacAulay for the most top 5s this season with, I believe, 6. He's tied with 3 other drivers for the most top 10s with 7. He's got the 5th most laps led with 51. Total passes, not in the top 5. Neither is, yeah, he's not in there for the total passes, but man, oh man, like average start, average finish, like he is up there at the top of the board in almost every single notable stat. So again, the consistency's been there for him. It's just, again, that win has always slipped away from his hands every single week in some capacity. Although it wasn't exactly close to a win again last week in North Wilkesboro, more so just trying to finish the race, get a good result, and not get involved in another incident again, as Jordy has joined us back. Hello.
More consistent than my internet connection, I'll tell you that for free.
Exactly. But
no idea who you're talking about in this case, but yeah, they're more consistent than my connection. That's, yeah, just another brief dropout.
Yeah, C.D. Magrum.
Oh, you were still on Magrum, okay.
Yeah, before Kyle Knoll had that bit of an issue there. Ryan O'Toole now has an issue here going through the hills of turn 2.
Yeah, he'd be the closest thing to the hometown driver this week, just on the West Coast. I can't even say here, I'm not full on the West Coast myself, but close enough by comparison.
Meanwhile, we're approaching 8 laps in, heading to lap 9 for the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 here at Sonoma Raceway. Jordan Kalinian, 8 laps in, 6.5 seconds.
I mean, class of the field on the road courses here, you'd have to say, right? Like, there's levels to this. And Kalinian, he's just absolutely finding the lines here, maximizing the speed no matter what turn he's in, what section he's in. Yeah, the only way some of these guys are going to see him is if he laps them.
And unfortunately, Jason Butler, Mark Ouellette, and Ryan O'Toole have already had that experience. Hunter Young might be coming up next here.
yeah, just so smooth out of whatever turn. Like, any sliding that does happen, it's very, very minimal for him. So, again, it's a significant difference here. And again, you start to see where the standards come into play.
So looking at the weather, oh my gosh, 49 degrees Celsius.
Well, yeah, that's, the super dry climate in California. Good old climate change isn't helping that, but I mean, that's wine country for you. Always, there's never a shortage of heat.
And I'm looking at Jason Butler. Come on. We need those drinks.
Yeah. But responsibly, folks.
Yes, responsibly. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, we cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, again, after 9 and 55 laps, 0 cautions, all laps under green, only 1 leader. Fastest lap 115.7. I mean,
that's pretty much his qualifying pace.
Exactly.
Because usually you'll see a dip between qualifying and race pace just with the weight of the car, the amount of fuel being carried. Nah, Kalinian's consistent here. And I guess the other thing to point out about Sonoma, obviously, given all of the yellows we experienced at North Wilkesboro, caution's being policed a lot differently. It's pretty much, on the drivers to maintain their lines. Like, there's no yellow flags that are going to bail them out outside of the scheduled stage cautions.
Indeed, again, cautions are iRacing officiated. It's all based off of the system we have here on the iRacing platform, which again has given us a couple of weird situations, like at Phoenix where we had that late caution because someone spun and then disconnected, and then I could have sworn there was another race that had something happen. I can't recall it though.
I mean, with our races, you can guarantee that something is happening. But yeah, in terms of specific cautions, like, I'm with you in remembering something, but yeah, it's not jumping out to me right offhand in terms of being overly strange.
Indeed, but yeah, Kalinian now 10 seconds ahead of Sears. He's just cruising on his way to what would be his 4th stage win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, 10 seconds in 11 or 12 laps, yikes.
But again, just based on...
I was going to say, this is with a former Sonoma winner in Corbin MacAulay in the field in 3rd as well. Granted, that was in the console era, but still a former winner at the track. See Trevor Binns very much off the track.
So we get a replay here of what went on with the number 33 Mobile One Racing Toyota. Yeah, I just kind of locked it up into the sand.
Yeah, just looks like he took turn 3 a little bit too wide, carried a little bit too much speed, and yeah, the correction came far too late.
Intense battle heating up here between Marini and Wilson for the 8th spot. Marini, again, we've seen, it's we went off a little bit right there going through 5. Wilson's going to try to take advantage. Potential dive bomb to the inside. Not going to make it that time. We'll see how these cars get through the S's. Again, lots of fast speeds. You want to make sure that you're at least somewhat touching the curb so you can, that car turns a lot easier and has that great launch going off the exit.
Yeah, I mean, that precision and control is paramount, especially on a road course. You just need to be able to maneuver, essentially. And yeah, just sometimes speed isn't the entire equation at a track like Sonoma Raceway. I mean, when you can blend it in, like our race leader very much is, it's a beautiful thing. But, control comes first on a night like this, and it's an opportunity to be rewarded for that kind of patience.
Indeed so. So it's the last lap here of stage 1. And what else can be said for this guy?
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, there's letting your driving do the talking, and then there's this.
So to the stage checkered flag for stage 1, 4th stage win of the season, the number 0 of whoever this is. This beast, this completely different species.
Yeah, I mean, we call him Jordan Kalinian. His initials are JK, but whenever the rest of the field think they have a chance on a road course, it just means just kidding.
So Sears 2nd, MacAulay 3rd, Ford is going to get 4th and 4th, haha. Megram 5th, Hurdle 6th, sorry. Jose Mercado 7th. He's coming up here to take it. Mike Marini looks like he's going to hang on over Adam Wilson for 8th. So Wilson 9th, Higginbotham will take 10th, and there's the stage caution. So that is your top 10 for stage 1.
And I mean, when 10th is almost 40 seconds back, that is absolutely wild. I mean, road courses can produce some unpredictable stuff. Like, again, there's levels to this.
On a whole nother level, in a whole nother league, the number 0, Jordan Kalinian, looking for his 2nd win of the season again after going to victory lane at Circuit of the Americas on April 9th. But 2 days from now, that's going to be exactly a month ago, so of course time has definitely flown by. But again, it just goes to show the parity that we've seen here so far throughout this season. If we're talking the first 7 rounds, we've had 5 different winners through 7 races, or I believe that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different winners through 7 races. Which again,
I think I'm gone.
Oh boy. The technical gremlins just keep going. But eventually he'll, he just pop right back in. Yeah. You keep saying what you were going to say.
I don't even know what I was talking about. I was actually filling in the stage points on my live spreadsheet here in the background. But I know I was talking about at one point, 10th being like 39.5 seconds back. And that's absolutely wild to me.
Yes. But I was talking about how we've had 5 different winners through 7 rounds so far. It's looking like it might be 5 through 8 if Kalinian does go well on his way to his 2nd career NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue win. But Jordy, again, you've been here since the very beginning of this series back in 2020, and you've seen the pattern of parity, how it's changed every single year with, again, some guys leaving, but a lot of, we might lose a couple talents, but then we really rebound with a lot of great talents that we bring in every single year. And this year, the crop of drivers that we got, I don't think there's no argument it's the best that we've had ever.
I think so, and I mean, there isn't even a question about that. They're absolutely there. Lion's share of the time, the guys are respectful of one another as well, but they're still pushing. The fact that, it's 12 playoff spots instead of 16, that forces the drivers to push that little bit while still remaining within, reason, so to speak. And just going back to what you were saying about Jordan Kalinian before, very much looking like he's going to make it or keep it at 5 winners in 8 races. If he does, then that puts our maximum regular season winners at 12, meaning literally it would be win and you're in from here on, where there was, potentially a point of contention if you go beyond the, 12 different race winners in 15. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
So replay here of everybody going for their pit stops and such. I believe Sears came out first. He took just fuel. Corbin MacAulay, on the other hand, going for fuel and 4 tires, I imagine. Megram, I think, might have gone for just fuel as well. Judging by Andy Hurdle's time, might have been the same. We'll just check one more time here.
Yeah, interesting development here. Again, if Sears thinks the tires are going to last another stage and maybe change them at the end of stage 2, you know what? We may have a little bit of a fight on our hands here, but Kalanian's going to have the grip off the start over Sears and Bangarang. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if he goes bye-bye here again.
Yeah, and they'll have 2 cars to try and overtake in Charlie Sears and C.D. Bangarang. So, 15 laps remaining here in the second stage. It's now going to be 14. So it looks like we're going to have a 13-lap shootout. So, again, the stage 2 is longer, but again, we have the caution laps that count in. So it's basically kind of stage 1 all over again.
Pretty much, yeah.
But it'll be Charlie Sears instead leading the field back to green. We'll see how Kalanian gets around everybody. Remember, again, off that start, pretty much everybody went single file. We're going to see if maybe it gets a little bit more chaotic. Some drivers decide to take on a couple more chances here. Again, this being the series' first race at Sonoma since 2021. This first one being on iRacing as well. We saw it back at Circuit of the Americas where everybody kind of took it easy from the start. A couple guys did have their mess-ups and such, but remember in that third and final stage, we had that little incident about halfway across the track.
We did. Again, I didn't get to react to it in real time. Something about me and road courses not really playing nicely with each other. But yeah, that was certainly noteworthy that particular evening. We'll have to see if, you know, maybe there's a little bit more discipline this time around.
So Sears, Bangarang, Kalanian, Hurdle, and Jose Mercado is it looks to be your top 5 here coming back to the green flag for stage 2 as the iRacing Porsche safety car is gonna pull off, send these superstars through turn 11.
That might be the safest that safety car has ever been.
Exactly.
And let's see what kind of a launch Sears gets here. He's waiting, though, where Kalanian took off straight away.
Again, that jump does help. But Kalanian already moving his way up to second. He only has one more car to chop off in the number 32.
Wait a minute, are they about to catch up to somebody else? I thought I saw a car going ahead of them as we were moving to that particular turn, as I think we had something happen in the background, maybe.
Yeah, Bryce Fontaine looks like he went for a spin there in turn 4. Corbin MacAulay, meanwhile, was just overtaken by Andy Hurdle, so the number 7 moves up into the top 5. Sears still maintaining that lead by about half a second or so. Yeah, there's the lap car that you were thinking about there. That would be Chase Beatty.
I was going to say, I thought, like, yeah, my internet connection's one thing, but I was sure I saw that. As Beatty's headed into pit lane. Alrighty then, onward.
Onward and upward. Yeah, the 22 Moza Racing Ford just completely lost it on his own. Or Chevrolet, I should say.
Yeah, that was kind of the same spot where we saw Trevor Binns get it wrong.
Whoa, trouble for the number 12 of Mike Marini in turn 1.
Yeah, I wonder what happened there. Just, I don't know, tried to carry too much speed. Oh, yeah, just loses it. Yeah.
into the tire barrier as Kyle Knoll was trying to get past.
Yeah, just took turn one maybe a hair too tight and just got a touch offline, and looks like that might be all it takes here, folks.
Charlie Sears, as a matter of fact, is actually extending his gap over, or well, no, it was there a little bit, about almost a second there. Now it's right back to half. Darcy Ford, I think, might have had an issue as Higginbotham and Belmonte both jumped him.
Yeah, but if we go back to the head of the field again, Sears opted for the track positioning by taking the shorter pit stop, and that's going to allow Jordan Kalinian to be patient here. Because, again, he'll have a significant grip advantage toward the end of this stage, and, you know, if eventually he'll be able to use that to strategically work his way up to the back of that 32. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an overtake here before the end of the stage.
Yeah, 11 laps to go here in stage 2. It's could turn out into an all-out war for the second and middle stage between the 32 and the 0. Meanwhile, 3 seconds back of them is CD Magram trying to hold off of Jose Mercado, who's moved his way up through the field. Mercado qualified 12th. So, whew.
Yeah, he's making some moves, but I'll tell you a guy who's not going to be making moves. If we take a look at the YouTube chat, Jason Butler retired here for the evening, says cannot use his left foot. That is kind of problematic when you need to brake.
So very unfortunate there for number 10. So following just a little bit more now of the playoff picture, and again, going back to last season too, the guy that barely made it into the playoffs at the Daytona regular season finale because again, Ty Higginbotham getting the win practically saved him. So now this time around with 12 playoff spots instead of 16, that's only going to hurt more of his chances, and that hurts a lot of other drivers here. But again, having those less spots again was that popular decision made by the competition committee heading into the season, as Ty Higginbotham might have had an issue in 4.
Yeah, it looked like he might have gotten a little offline there, but yeah, he's trying to correct it. I think that was Marini coming out of pit lane, correct? As, yeah, you saw Higginbotham run wide there. It looks like, was it just as he was coming up the hill out of 2? Yeah. And yeah, it's so important to get that exit right, or that braking. Oh, that's into the grass. Oh man.
I was wondering there was more than that, because I saw potential contact, but now I got the full view of it. Justin Belmonte and Ty Higginbotham making contact coming up the hill. Now Kyle Knoll goes for a spin in 11.
Yeah, we're about 30-ish laps away from doing donuts, folks. Let's keep her straight here. But yeah, that turn 11, it is catching a lot of guys out here.
Meanwhile, the gap between Sears and Kalinian has pretty much remained the same now with 9 laps to go in stage 2.
Again, Kalinian could be patient, as it looked like Sears might have run a little wide there out of 7. So we'll see if Kalinian's able to take advantage through the S's. Obviously, a bit harder to follow in a more technical part of the track. But if there's a guy who's going to be able to do it, it's the 0.
Indeed, Kalinian seems to be having slightly better entries and exits. Yeah, you see a perfect entry and exit right there for the 0. The 32 went wide, but are they going to stay side by side? No, I think it made sense for Sears to back off right there, coming out of turn 12. So the number 0 back to the race lead as Andy Hurdle, Corbin MacAulay side by side into turn 1.
Yeah.
Whoa, yikes. The 17 got really loose there. Great job keeping the car straight. Still able to kind of keep a decent distance there behind the 7. A bit of a touch there in the sand.
Yeah, just those fine margins are what's keeping guys off track or taking them off. But back to that point of fine margins, that pass that Kalinian made as MacAulay goes wide out of 4A. Is he going to try a bit of a dive here into 7?
A little bit, but he does get a little closer.
And again, we know we're skipping numbers. Those are official turn numbers. We, again, just don't have the carousel in tonight's layout. So that's where your 5s and 6s would go. It's not like we're not trying to make the count from Sesame Street mad by skipping numbers.
Whoa! 17 with a drift there. Coming out of turn 10. Fast and Furious style.
Wowee, let's go. But Hurdle goes wide.
Yeah, Hurdle with an issue there through 11, so the 17 stays caught up regardless.
I think he might have tapped the wall there as he was getting onto the straight. This is bananas.
I am faintly hearing some stuff on the other side of my wall, so it sounds like
Can it be repeated on the broadcast?
It's something like woo-hoo-hoo or something, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if he's used to things going sideways here. But he held on, and full credit to him. This has been a great little battle here.
Yeah, still hasn't been able to at least get back past him just yet, but still well in the running for that position with 7 laps to go here in stage 2. Looks like, based on the leaderboard, Kalinian slowly extending the gap between him and Sears. Almost a second in between them.
Yeah, and again, he doesn't need to force it necessarily. He knows he'll have the tire advantage, so he's got the position. No need to push it as long as he's got Sears covered off. Like, that's job done here for the 0. And again, to go back to that pass, like whenever he made it in the hairpin, it was right before we went to the Hurdle and MacAulay battle. But you mentioned you thought Sears was going wide. Kalinian has been super tight to that hairpin all night, and I cannot imagine the speed advantage that he's able to get from that. Just being able to rotate the car so much faster than everybody else. Like, there's something to be said for that, and you're gonna have gains there. No question.
So Hunter Young was around there. I think Sears had a bit of an issue there climbing up through turn 2 because now he's 2 seconds back of Kalinian.
Yeah, so I wonder if
he's got by him.
What we missed here?
We barely caught that. Barely.
Okay. I mean, it happened recently enough. We could probably go back and figure it out. Yeah, it looks like he went for the dive into 7. Nailed it.
Just when we get back to live, as long as he's not nailing a wall, we're good. All right, all good.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
Don't want to try and ride up the tire barrier there through 11 like Tony Stewart.
And tires brings me back to Charlie Sears, because I wonder if maybe we're starting to see kind of his fall off the cliff a bit, because remember, he didn't take his tires in that pit stop.
Chase Beatty in trouble once again there, climbing up through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, just not able to get it all hooked up tonight, the 25, it seems.
It's 5 laps to go now for the 0 to try and sweep the stages. Higginbotham and Belmonte have been pretty much almost magnets throughout this whole race, because, oh, never mind, as I said that.
Oh, man. Yeah, just, it never fails, does it?
It certainly does not. But only 14 cars remain on the lead lap. Bryce Fontaine, the last one there. Kalinian getting past Maya. Is that, Marini, is that damage from the barrier, or did something else happen because he's slow?
I mean, out of 11, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, we see another loose moment here potentially.
Well, there's Chase Beatty.
Beatty going backwards, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it was probably I think it was that contact that we did get a replay on. It's just that we didn't have a perfectly close angle, but anyways.
And I think he did pit under green, if I recall. Probably to address some of that damage.
Yeah, he did 5 laps ago.
Yeah, so that checks out. I thought Marini himself was about to check out, but instead, just letting guys by.
So Kalinian now 3 seconds ahead of Sears. Magrum 8 seconds back of Kalinian. Mercado following him behind about a second back or so, trying to see if he can steal an extra stage point. And then there's Corbin MacAulay back here about 4 seconds back. Andy Hurdle's dropped about 2.5 back of the 17. But Kalinian's just in a whole nother world, planet, universe of his own.
Yeah, because, I mean, again, he knew he had the speed. There was absolutely no reason for him to panic, no need for him to do anything rash. He knew the opportunity would come back to him. And, yeah, we saw it happen with, again, that sweet pass in the hairpin is, ooh, man, 2 wheels off the ground there, cutting that curb.
Yeah, wouldn't the greatest thing, wouldn't just the greatest thing ever be you're leading by quite the far far margin.
Found it out.
I bet I had a stroke there. I almost had a second one there again.
Get the bangarang.
Just imagine you're leading by that whole giant far wide gap. You hit a curb, you go up on 2 tires, and then maybe you go a little too far on 2 tires.
Yeah, I mean, he went full drift in the corner there, so, I mean, not unheard of.
Yeah, we saw the 17 do that, maybe try to get it up in the air next, and then after that...
Oh, his was more extreme, let's be real here.
3rd time's the charm, you're dead.
Yeah, maybe.
But 2 laps to go now for this guy, who's... Yeah, I guess we've had a couple numbers come around there, but again, stage caution and Charlie Sears leading a couple laps. It was actually pretty surprising how again on the no tire call compared to, oh my gosh, Kalinian taking the 4 tires, he actually was able to survive a couple laps by like half a second to a second ahead of him. So again, we'll have to see what kind of strategy calls are made here for 3rd stage. I wonder maybe Sears takes 4 tires this time around. We'll see what other guys decide to do. Again, maybe some strategies could be at play here. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, more than likely it'll be 2 required pit stops for all these guys. My gosh, Kalinian, you love to play it close.
Well, you have to think, like, there will be a green flag pit stop in stage 3. 25 laps. We've had the fuel window at 16 to 19. You'd have to think it's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to pit under green. The question is tire allocations.
Yes.
Because, a couple of weeks ago when Adam Wilson picked up his win, that was him saving a set of tires at Dover. So that would be the question that would need to be answered here in order for me to kind of pick out a winner. On pure performance, there's absolutely zero question as to who it's going to be, but it's just a matter of who's going to have it at the right time.
Absolutely perfect strategy call by Adam Wilson and Ty Higginbotham back at Dover, which again led to that podium sweep by the Tornado Alley Racing organization. So again, final lap here of stage 2. Kalinian, man, it's either he'll dip the tires along those curves, sometimes maybe even in the sand. He'll get right up close to those walls. It doesn't matter. This guy, even by leading by that much, he's still a damn daredevil.
He is, but again, you saw how tight he just took that hairpin, right? Like, that's night and day as he takes the flag.
Stage 2 goes to Kalinian. That's his 5th stage win of the season, so he goes from being tied for 2nd to suddenly overtaking Corbin MacAulay, as Charlie Sears will take 2nd. CD Magrum will take 3rd, barely over Jose Mercado. Corbin MacAulay 5th. It looks like Andy Hurdle's going to take 6th. Darcy Ford coming around for what looks to be 7th. Adam Wilson 8th. There's Ty Higginbotham in the background for 9th. And I believe Justin Belmonte is going to round out the top 10. And we'll see if the stage caution comes out. Indeed it does.
And I mean, lots of points to be gained here, notably 18 for Charlie Sears, who, if I had to look at it live, I think he's in real time jumped into 12th, like in the overall standings. So that's what, our different disciplines can do for guys.
Oh, Mason Tomlinson with some trouble. Under caution.
Yeah, not ideal.
Oh,
I was going to say, it's not trouble, it's contact.
I'd keep my fingers crossed that that's not intentional, but I imagine it isn't.
I mean, it was Noel from behind, right? I can't imagine there was intent behind that.
Notably, Trevor Binns and Ryan O'Toole have been in their pit boxes for quite some time. They're both now 16 laps down. Jason Butler at 17 laps down. He's out of the race.
Yeah.
Mark Ouellette's 7, Hunter Young's at 5, Chase Speedy's at 3, Marini 2, Janikowski 1 lap down, still trying to keep. I don't know if his top 15 streak kept going last week. I know there was I think 5 or 6 races in a row where he was sticking in the top 15 every single time, just falling short of the top 10 about twice maybe. Bryce Fontaine, the last car on the lead lap. It's been a rough race for him, especially after qualifying 10th, but he's still been able to maintain himself on the lead lap and keep himself in the race. So give credit where credit's due.
Yep, and I mean, we're kind of at the point where pretty much the race itself will officially begin. It's kind of like, similar vibes to how the Masters doesn't really begin until you're at the back 9 on Sunday at Augusta. Stage 3 is kind of what that feels like on the NASCAR side of things. So I'd have to imagine we'll see some pretty uniform strategies from our drivers here, but we were fooled by that in stage 1. Who knows? Someone might be brave enough to take the risk now.
So we'll see here on the pit lane what some of these guys here decide to do. Looks like Mercado's going for just fuel. Magram might have as well.
Okay.
But Kalenia, MacAulay, and Sears all go for fuel and 4 tires. It looks like Hurdle does as well. So does Darcy Ford. Interesting.
All right, go time here, boys. I mean, they would have seen Sears get the track position at between stages 1 and 2. Why not potentially go for it here to start? I mean, if the tires have some life and you have to make a green flag pit stop probably anyway, why not? I don't hate the idea.
Indeed, but then there's Jordan Kalinian.
I mean, let's be real here. There's, again, I said it earlier, there's levels to this.
So
performance-wise, I think he's just, again,
yeah.
It's the kind of performance that does force guys to try different things. I think it's probably the best way I can put it.
Yeah. Exactly. So Magram first, Mercado second, Kalinian's third, MacAulay and Andy Hurdle rounding at the top 5 right now. Ford 6, Charlie Sears falling all the way back to what looks to be now 8th.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange one. He came into the pits in 2nd,
Penalty?
I mean, be an interesting thing to see. Maybe not as interesting. Well, he's letting guys go by. What's happening here? Well, I mean, that looked almost Smokey and the Bandit from Kyle Knoll. What is happening here? I am baffled.
Okay, yeah, it was a speeding penalty.
Okay, so
I don't know why. I don't know why the. What explains this?
Yeah. I mean, did that set of tires come from Sears? Like, is he just voluntarily? Well, obviously he's voluntarily letting guys through. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the methodology is strange, we'll say.
With everybody coming back to green here for stage number 3, might as well thank some of our sponsors here. Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, the title sponsor for the NASCAR Series here in Season 5. Rampage Coffee Co., Piping Kettle Soup, Forked River Brewing Company, Bangarang Hard Seltzer, thank you for being the title sponsor of tonight's event. Nordic Aluminum, GSG Vinyl 3D, GTR, and of course, for the good old Crank It Up, TrackCams22.com. Here we go, Stage 3 underway. So that was the TrackHams22.com. Crank it up. Thank you very much to them for providing us with these professional looking cameras and angles here for our races, Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, or just any races within the network. But especially here for Season 5, second season on the iRacing platform, we've had a battle brewing here for the win between Jordan Kalinian and Jose Mercado. The Zero just took the race lead with 16 laps to go. A hell of a job, though, by Mercado, who kind of did a bit of a version 2 there. Charlie Sears was able to hang on over the Zero for quite some time, but now it looks like the Zero might just be on his way to pulling away again.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, the other guy who opted not to take tires pretty much fell off a cliff straight away in the form of locking up's not going to help either. But, yeah, no, I was going to say CD Mangram's kind of the odd man out in this restart sequence here, having dropped all the way to 7th. He was the guy actually leading as we took green, if I recall.
So now separated by about a second or so. Corbin MacAulay starting to approach about 2 seconds back of Mercado. Ty Higginbotham on pit road.
Yeah, and again, we were expecting a green flag pit stop, and 25-ish laps in this stage. This feels like it might be a touch early, but I wonder if, we don't know if he took 4 tires. He certainly didn't there. Looks like it might have been just a splash and dash for the 97. Interesting. Here, we'll see how his ascent back up the field goes from 12th, I believe I saw there on the leaderboard. And there's Mercado in.
Something like that. So Mercado makes his way down with 14 laps to go.
And again, you had to wonder just how long those tires were going to hang on after, again, opting not to make the change at the end of stage 2. Just carry on for a few extra laps. Not the worst idea. Oh, but he didn't take any there either.
Interesting call right there. Mercado didn't go for tires either during that stage caution, so the 41's really trying to take some gambles here. We'll see if that plays a difference at all whenever other guys decide to come down. And right in front of him, now behind him, Bryce Fontaine in trouble again. Ooh.
Yikes.
Mark Roulette's really... it's been a couple of close calls for that number 80 Lil Rescue Toyota, and now he's back in the sand right there. We saw how close he got there to that battle between Mercado and Kalinian during the Crank It Up.
Yes, we did, but yeah, just able to avoid it and not have any calamities or catastrophes.
Oh, it looks like we have a second DNF. That's going to be the number 25 of Chase Beatty.
Yeah, and we'd seen him struggling over the course of the evening as well, so perhaps not the most surprising outcome there, unfortunately, for the 25, but yeah, that's his race done. And yeah, to go back to the other DNF, Jason Butler, what are you doing getting a calf tattoo on a race night? Come on. What are you doing?
I will happily do calf races instead of getting a calf tattoo.
Priorities here, guys. Now, if he's trying to presently numb the pain away with some Bangarang Hard Seltzer, I could totally see him doing that.
Responsibly.
Yes, that's the caveat that we've been adding all night long, is yes, please consume responsibly.
Now, if you're on iRacing and doing some fun race, or you're maybe on like something like American Truck Simulator, be my guest, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, like we don't need anyone mad with 2Ds at us here.
So 12 laps to go. It's an 8-second-ish lead or so for the 0 against the number 17. Again, Kalinian looking for that second road course win this season after scoring the win back at Circuit of the Americas almost a month ago, about 2 days away from exactly that.
Woo. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, there's taking a wide line and then there's that. You do have to make sure you get back, folks.
Yeah, I love to see. This guy loves to make things close and interesting here within the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series. We'll see how it plays out with whenever he gets behind the wheel of a real race car come 2 weekends time.
Man, that's coming up fast.
And soon enough, maybe it will be a super late model. Who knows? Which, yes, that is this weekend with the Easy Clean Super Late Model Series at Petty National Raceway. If you are in the area of New Brunswick, it's about 30 minutes west of Moncton in Riverglade, New Brunswick, or Petticoat, either one. Petty National Raceway, round 1 of 6, the Fog City Auto Spa 150. If you're in the area, or anywhere in Atlantic, Canada, come on out and watch some good old super late model racing. Second season of operation for the series. And then meanwhile, the number 17 of Corbin MacAulay will be getting started with his racing season the next weekend. On Sunday, May 19th at Oysterbed Speedway on Prince Edward Island. If you're on the island, come on out and support this fellow.
Shameless. Absolutely shameless plug. I love it. And I'm sure the 18 fans watching right now also enjoyed that. And thank you for watching, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much to those that indeed have tuned in to watch the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 here at Sonoma Raceway. We've had about an average of like 20 concurrent viewers like every single broadcast, which that's quite the step up from last season. Again, too, I suppose it does help with some of the new crop of drivers that have that entered the series here for Season 5, and also with two guys, especially a fan favorite, entering the season a couple rounds in as well. So regardless of who you are, we appreciate each and every one of you for supporting us here. Without every one of you and our sponsors and partners, we wouldn't be able to be doing this every single Tuesday night again for this second season on the iRacing platform. Of course, you know, a lot more tracks, a condensed playoff field, like the hottest ticket in town here in terms of a sim racing league is the Canadian E-Motorsports Network and the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. You're seeing it here live right now on the Canadian E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel, which obviously every Tuesday night from here until August, with the exception of that 1 week for Canada Day, 4th of July, something like that. Every single Tuesday night here on the YouTube channel, catch the live action here of NASCAR racing on iRacing. Playoffs quickly approaching, about halfway or so through the regular season, as we were talking about earlier. And man, oh man, things are ramping up every single week, and driver parity is at an all-time high.
And yeah, we'll see how the strategies kick in, or is that Fontaine in, maybe?
Andy Hurdle.
Well, I mean, the fronts look similar. But this is where you're going to see some of those guys who are going to be a little bit further up the field. This is where they're going to try and make their mark. And don't do it too quickly.
Now, you thinking that's Fontaine is better than me thinking that was a number 7 Doritos car.
Well, I mean, you had the number right.
Yeah.
But yes, Doritos will never not be funny to me.
Yeah, and especially with that car color too, like,
yeah,
the biggest brain fart ever.
maybe Hurdle likes ranch. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, yes, I do like my ranch with my salads, so.
Okay, fair. So, I mean, you can justify it.
And I too love the taste and digestion of a Duracell battery.
Oh, okay. Maybe book an appointment with a specialist to see how that goes. Yeah, do not consume that, responsibly or not, folks.
Yeah, drink responsibly, but eat responsibly, but also don't.
Yeah, the battery acid's kind of the limit here.
I don't know. It could be some extra protein and some extra speed in the car. Who knows? If extra speed in the car, extra speed from the driver, perfect combo.
Now, see, iron would have been a good one there as well, but
True.
But yeah, I'm not even sure that's part of the compound. Probably isn't.
No. But anyways, meanwhile, Jordan Kalinian, 14 seconds ahead of the 17 with, I was going to say 8 laps to go. It's now 7 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway. Bearing a complete catastrophe or iRacing system malfunction, I think we can pretty much just prepare for the post-race interview now.
I mean...
Yeah.
Something to be said for that. Meanwhile, second place is in pit lane, so that gap's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Depending on when the zero happens to come in, if at all. I mean, I imagine you would. Might be trying to maybe save it until the very dying laps, just to maybe have the better strategy of these guys as MacAulay goes for just fuel. Right on the edge of Jose Mercado there for that 4th position. Woo!
Yeah, and Mercado, just a little bit wide out of 2. And yeah, that could give MacAulay the place. He should have the inside line through the 3s. And yeah, I think that's job done straight out of pit lane.
So give second place to Darcy Ford now. Like half a minute back of Kalinian.
And mixed up with some lap traffic as well, so not exactly clean air to try and track the zero down.
And now Darcy Ford makes his way down pit road in his number 64 Piping Kettle Soup Co. Chevrolet for 519 Racing. That sponsor right there is going to be the title sponsor of next week's race, the Piping Kettle 300 on May 14th. Tuesday, May 14th at Charlotte Motor Speedway, our version of the Coca-Cola 600, except split that race in half. And we still did 4 stages last year, right?
We did.
Indeed. So, again, still 4 stages, but 300 miles, 200 laps, I think it is.
Yeah, 1.5 mile track, that adds up.
Indeed.
And for all, I was going to say, you're almost sounding Yoda-ish there, but I was about to say, in response to you Star Wars fans out there, May the 14th will be with you. Or was that a little too shoehorned?
I was Okay. You were saying that stuff, and I was talking about eating Duracell batteries. Come on.
Hey, at least it sounded the same.
Anyways, the leader, Jordan Kalinian, on pit road. I imagine probably just fuel. That is correct.
Yeah, and
there's like no difference. There's no difference in the gap. There's nothing.
I was gonna say, like, even the thought of him needing to cover off other drivers at this point is just nah. He's got that covered.
37 of something laps led. I can't do the math.
Well, how many are left?
5 laps remaining.
So this would be lap number 51 because there will be 4 remaining once he crosses the line. But I guess that'd be lap 38 at that point that he's led. So, presuming he winds up in victory lane here, it'll be 42 out of 55 laps led.
And to the checkered flag. Okay, that's early.
I was going to say, another word or another way to summarize it is just straight up dominance.
Indeed so. And I mean, it wasn't so pretty much that quote-unquote practice that he got back at Circuit of the Americas was almost perfect because, again, as a rookie, you know, into that first race, well, I shouldn't be saying rookie. I should be saying newcomer because Kalinian has, like, the best I rating out of everybody here.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned it in other broadcasts as well. That's a term I've kind of struggled with since we've made the move because, again, the tiers are that much more structured and pronounced. I mean, Heat, did it even have anything like that? I have to remember. I honestly don't think it did.
Yeah, just kind of having to keep consistent based on how we've done it the past couple of years. It's always been rookie point standings, so we kind of have to keep it going, but that term is definitely, it's got its definitions, loosely.
Yes.
But yeah. But I mean, still though, like, again, Kalinian did not dominate Circuit of the Americas. Like, he was good, but he did not dominate one bit. And then he comes here. It was almost golden practice for him because dominance is a complete understatement.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said it a couple of times tonight, like, he's just in another stratosphere pretty much tonight compared to everybody else. And again, you see what the gap is right now, and it's just like night and day. Now, was Sears going into pit lane there? Or was he just going super wide into the hairpin? Oh no, there he is.
Now you wanna talk about something here? 3 laps to go. Tornado Isle E-Racing, all 3 drivers are in the top 10.
Knock me over with a feather.
Again, unless Ty Higginbotham has a complete catastrophe, fingers crossed he doesn't. 8 rounds in a row, all 3 Tornado Alley E-Racing drivers finish inside the top 10. If they actually make it to 10 races in a row, especially with, again, Charlotte, Iowa, and the Nashville Superspeedway coming up, like, I'll be amazed if they even get... I'll be amazed if they get it done next week, just knowing what the hell happened last year.
Yeah, that's... I mean, anything can happen, it seems, right? As we see one of them just trying to hang on for dear life through the hairpin.
Take a look at what he did.
Honestly, we're not... we don't have the #1 voodoo doll here. We're not, like, sticking pins into it anywhere or anything like that. That was all him.
But yeah, right now it's looking like it's going to be a podium of Kalinian, Bangarang, and MacAulay. Kalinian is almost 20 seconds ahead of the #1. Just in no man's land. He can pretty much cruise his way to victory.
As you were saying, I don't think he has that in the vocabulary.
Yeah, cruises his way to the win, yet there's a little bit of daredevilish motives inside of him. But I mean, that's Jordan Kalinian for you. So coming at turn 11, this is going to be the white flag for the 3rd annual Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 here at Sonoma Raceway. 1 lap to go for the number 0 of newcomer to the series, Jordan Kalinian.
Yeah, 0 is an appropriate car number, isn't it? Because that represents the amount of chance that the rest of the field had tonight. Yeah, yikes, who was that going wide?
Couldn't tell from there, but the only thing that needs to happen, the only thing that needs to happen now is a curb decides to just wake up, like Transformer style or something, and just go boop.
I mean, we've seen how he's hopped off of some of these. Like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Actually, I shouldn't say the curb. I meant to say the vehicle turns into one. But anyways, you go on.
Well, I was going to say, I think somehow he's got this one handled. So this is the part of the show where I go quiet and you take us home.
And so, the Salisbury, North Carolina native, the number 0 Toyota of Jordan Kalinian to the checkered flag for the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110. Kalinian wins at Sonoma Raceway, his second career win in the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, and his second win of the season. He remains unstoppable on the road courses, 2 for 2. Magram second.
Yikes.
MacAulay third, decided to do one little drift one last time, because why not? Jose Mercado comes around with a very respectable 4th place finish. Justin Belmonte with a top 5 after qualifying 13th.
That's quiet, isn't it?
Indeed. Charlie Sears 6th. It looks like Adam Wilson's going to hang on over Andy Hurdle for 7th. Darcy Ford's going to come around for 9th. Ty Higginbotham has one final corner here to seal the deal for the Tornado Alley top 10 streak. And we can knock over Jordy with a feather.
Yeah, I mean, that's... How many times have we spoken about just how consistent these guys have been? Like, it's almost a broken record at this point.
Now Bryce Fountain is going to come around, and he will fall just short of a top 10 finish, but he's going to take home 11th. Why not take a bit of a wall tap there, because why not?
Hey, take a bow, Bryce. Like, you know, just to be able to fight that, quite honestly, because, like, we've seen him around a couple of times over the course of the evening. And, you know what? He kept battling, and has to be said the same for Charlie Sears as well, after taking that penalty between stages 2 and 3 in pit lane, to battle back to 6th from that adventure to get himself to the back of the pack and not inhibit the restart. Respectable effort, to say the very least, from the 32. Track is that way, sir. So is he just, like, showing off because he didn't win, or what's happening here? Literally taking his ball and driving home. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, show don't tell.
I was going to say, this is the guy who won. This is the guy we should be focusing on.
Indeed so. The number 0 of Jordan Kalinian, your Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 at Sonoma Raceway winner here. So we'll go trackside and get the post-race winner interview done with him for the second time this season. And more than likely, plenty more to come. So yeah, Jordy, I guess you can send me some questions there behind the scenes, and I'll get them referred over here to Jordan Kalinian.
Sounds good.
On the drag strip.
Jordan Kalinian, this is Regan from the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. You got me?
Indeed, so I gotcha. Jordan Kalinian, the number 0 Toyota from Salisbury, North Carolina. The number 0 Toyota going to victory lane here at Sonoma Raceway. The Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 winner. His second career win in the series, second win of the season. 2 for 2 on the road courses, of course, with that win about a month ago at Circuit of the Americas. Jordan, I can only imagine this one in your mind is far different from what we saw back at Coda. Just sheer dominance. Pretty much left us speechless up here in the broadcast booth. Man, oh man, what a performance. Talk about it.
Yeah, it felt good. Stage one went pretty good for me. Got a pretty good jump on the start and just able to maintain it there. And stage two, there was some pit strategy, and Charlie was really able to get out there and had a little bit of difficulty getting by him. Stage three was kind of similar with the different pit strategies. CD was able to get out there, and it also took a little bit to get around him. But it was just a fun race. Really like the track. The car goes good with it.
Indeed so. Yeah, there were, we did see after those stage cautions, of course, you had to battle up there with, you know, CD Mangrum, Charlie Sears, even Jose Mercado at the start of stage three. Of course, as you said there, you had to fight your way to get past them, again, too, with them choosing not to go with 4 tires compared to what you decided to do. So just, you were able to you still were able to get by them eventually, but yeah, just talk a little bit more in depth about those battles and what it took to eventually get by them.
Yeah, the difficult part is when you're on the fresh tires, it really takes about 2 or 3 laps for the tires to get some heat in them so that you can get the grip that you need to make the moves. Charlie and CD both did really good, just keeping their pace, and in the dirty air, it's also hard to get a run. So they did really good there, and was able to kind of surprise CD on the outside of turn 1 there, and was able to get by him. Charlie was kept watching him into the last turn there, and kind of found that was a little bit of his weak spot, so I lined it up for a couple laps and was finally able to make the move there.
Indeed so. Got a question here from Majority. For stages 2 and 3, like, you established the pace you had in stage 1, but alternate strategies, of course, had you in third on each of the restarts. Just knowing the advantage that you had on the tires, what was the biggest key to remaining patient?
I really didn't have a choice on staying patient, but the tires being cold kind of kept me have to be patient, or else it would have spun out. Once the tires kind of warmed up, just keeping behind them, knowing that if it goes long enough, I thought I had a pretty good shot of getting back around them. So just keeping patient and trying not to burn up my stuff, trying to get by them before it was time.
Indeed so, and I heard that you, in the practice session last night, you led the way, and then you ended up getting the pole here tonight, and then you ended up winning the race, so a perfect triple 2 nights in a row. Just obviously, you know, leading the way by like almost a second or so pretty much every single time. I mean, we saw here in the race up about 20 seconds there. Obviously, I mean, again, race being different compared to getting individual times and such, but, you know, coming into tonight's race after, you know, getting first in practice, getting first in qualifying. Were you still, trying not to have a whole lot of confidence, maybe too much cockiness, or did you go into the race knowing, like, you know, this was it, like, this was going to be yours? Like, what was kind of that mindset going in with all that momentum?
I knew coming in that if I just kept it clean, I'd have a pretty good shot at the end. Obviously, we got some pretty good guys in here, and a lot of guys are able to find pace throughout the race. And so, yeah, definitely didn't come in with a guaranteed win. But pretty sure if I just kept it clean and stayed patient, I'd have a good shot at it at the end.
Absolutely. And now moving on here from Sonoma, of course, second win, obviously still locked in the playoffs. You're still, though, trying to make sure you get some of those extra stage points, playoff points, and all of that so you can have a good advantage heading into the playoffs. But next week on May 14th, we go to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Piping Kettle 300. Basically, again, as we've talked about here in the broadcast booth, a half Coca-Cola 600. We're going here from a 55-lap race on a road course to a half Coke 600, like 200 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going into an intermediate race that's going to be all about agility, endurance. It's going to be a major marathon. It was pretty chaotic that what we had last year back in season 4, but now that you're here in season 5, what's it going to take to keep up this momentum again, going from a road course to an intermediate, and what's it going to take to be able to come out on top through what's going to be, again, quite the endurance race next week at Charlotte?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult. The intermediates have been really easy, even between a lot of the guys. I think there's 5 or 6 of us every week that are running up front, and making it really hard to pass with the dirty air. And so I think the air is just really about getting to the front and staying at the front so you don't get trapped back in the dirty air. Being a longer race is that little more of a endurance thing, like you said. So really just getting ready for it and seeing what the transition will do from day to night if we have that, and hopefully just stay on top of it.
For sure. And now it's your second time talking with us here, of course, after back at Circuit of the Americas. Do you want to perhaps give some shout-outs once again? Who would you like to thank for being able to come on out here every Tuesday night and get the job done?
Yeah, just appreciate the whole league putting us on, sponsors that have come on, and letting us do this. It's been pretty fun.
For sure. So that does it here for tonight's post-race winner interview with the number 0 Toyota of Jordan Kalinian from Salisbury, North Carolina, your winner of the 3rd annual Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 at Sonoma Raceway. His second career win, second win of the season, 2 for 2 on the road courses this season. Absolute perfection from Kalinian thus far. Jordan, once again, congratulations. Go and celebrate well and safe. And we'll see you next week for some endurance racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And there you have it there. The interview with Jordan Kalinian for the second time this season. I am going to, for sure, more than likely, we're going to have a couple more of these with him later on this season as long as that momentum keeps going. But now let's get into the unofficial results, talk about some of these other guys here in tonight's race. Of course, Kalinian getting the win. C.D. Magram and Corbin MacAulay rounding out the podium with some solid performances. Of course, Jose Mercado all the way from 13th in qualifying. He finishes 4th. A hell of a run by him. We saw early in stage 3 how he was able to hold off Jordan Kalinian for a couple laps on the worst tires. Kalinian had completely fresh tires. Mercado, on the other hand, decided to go with just fuel. Still able to come home in 4th. Justin Melmani running out the top 5 after, again, he qualified outside the top 10, I believe, as well. Charlie Sears qualifying in 6th. Again, 4 races in a row where he qualifies 6th or higher. He comes home with a top 10 finish. Adam Wilson 7th. Andy Hurdle 8th. Darcy Ford 9th. Ty Higginbotham rounding out the top 10. Again, continuing that Tornado Alley E-Racing top 10 streak for all 3 drivers. Bryce Fontaine, the first car a lap down, so Higginbotham rounding out the lead lap cars. Fontaine, again, had a very up-and-down race, but was still able to come home in the 11th position. Again, a lot of other drivers below him also having some bad luck, so he was able to get a little bit lucky and take advantage, but still a resilient run, a resilient result by him. Kyle Knoll, 12th. Mason Tomlinson, 13th. Jason Heaney, 14th. Mike Marini rounding at the top 15. Tom Janikowski, 16th. Hunter Young, 17th. Mark Ouellette, 18th. Chase Beatty, 19th. He was a DNF. Trevor Bin, now the numbers are kind of flip-flopping here. Ryan O'Toole, 20th. Trevor Binns, 21st. Jason Butler rounding at the field in 22nd. Out of this race, 15 laps in or so very unfortunate result for him. Very much more and more out of the playoff picture every single week, so more than likely he's going to need a win if he wants any shot of keeping up, again, that Earl Ross Cup playoff appearance streak after just barely squeezing in last year at the Daytona regular season finale. But as we go back to our light, let there be light. As we go back to our faces here one last time, Jordan Kalinian, I think that's literally all that could be said.
Yeah, I mean, there are some nights where, just performance speaks for itself. And it goes without saying that, tonight was absolutely one of those nights. And, without hearing what Jordan said to you live in response, how many times do we see him break away? Well, 3, I guess, once in each stage. But really, once he had that clear air in front of him, it was academic, and it was just a matter of, him grabbing the checkered flag, quite honestly. And there was as close to 0 opposition for 2/3 of that race as you could possibly imagine.
Indeed so, and now looking forward to the rest of the month here of May. 3 races over the course of the next 3 weeks at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Iowa Speedway, and Nashville Super Speedway, intermediate short track, and then in the name they say Super Speedway. I don't know exactly what it would be. It's in between the intermediate and the Super Speedway, but anyways, yeah, Jordy, almost a year later, actually, if we go off of last year's schedule at Charlotte, just gonna pull it off here very quickly, trying to remember the exact date of when it was. It was June 13th, so yeah, there's a bit of a month separation there, but yeah, of course, the World 300 being last year. This year, it's the Piping Kettle 300 on Tuesday, May 14th. Man, oh man, Jordy, again, we'll go back. We'll kind of, I guess I'll show our kind of visual reactions here. You remember last year's race?
Yeah, I mean, Sonoma tonight had one definition of hanging on for dear life. Charlotte is a different one entirely. It's, again, just a war of attrition, I think I said earlier, in terms of having the 4 stages. Again, it just makes for a long night, but it does make for a lot of opportunities for things to happen. And ultimately, again, having that 4th stage, you get the additional points haul potentially. So I think, it's a very important night, quite honestly. And, guys who need to make things happen, this is as good an opportunity as you're going to have. What are you pointing at?
I was doing some counting.
Okay.
Keep
anyway,
going.
yeah, well, no, I was done. I had my point made.
Yeah, and what is certainly done is, I guess you could say, the first half of the regular season now. Daytona, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Coda, Kansas, Dover, North Wilkesboro, Sonoma, all done. And now we move on to the half of the regular season that is going to matter the most, especially for at least 7 drivers in particular. 5 playoff spots still locked. Kalinian joining MacAulay and Higginbotham with multiple wins this season now. Adam Wilson, Jared Ireland still with 1 win apiece. But then again, there's guys we're go back to the driver. That is not at all it.
Nope, but it does show our winner.
It does. That's actually, yeah, that'll be cool looking for next week. That's for sure. But yeah, this was the driver's standings again going into tonight's race. And again, MacAulay, Higginbotham, Kalinian 2 wins apiece, Wilson, Ireland 1 each, and then guys like C.D. Mangrum, Andy Hurdle, Justin Melmonte, Darcy Ford, Mike Marini, Jose Mercado, and Kyle Knoll. They're well in the playoff picture right now, trying to get in without a win. 7 races remaining for them to try and get in, be safe with that win. But it's like, for someone, like, you see that gap of C.D. Mangrum, it's like, what is it, 141 points ahead of the cut line going into tonight. More than likely, he'll be way ahead, way more ahead whenever we reveal the standings later this week. Like, that guy's well overdue for a win. 7 races remaining. We're going to see how that gap between Knoll and Binns, Sears, even Jankowski, like, we'll see what those gaps are going to be looking like after tonight's race. There's a couple guys even like Mark Roulette, Mason Tomlinson, who have, started to put some distance behind the cut line in recent weeks. But again, anything's possible with some of the tracks that we have coming up. Again, looking at this schedule, like, I look at tracks like Charlotte, Iowa, we got Monza. Look at the last 4 races. The whole month of June is basically pure chaos and circuit parity all over the place with Monza, Pocono, Indianapolis, and then you got Rockingham, the classic old school track, to end it all off. So, like, just things are going to be ramping up here. Like we've been talking about, things are ramping up every single week. It's going to keep going and going and going. Then you look at that playoff schedule and it's just even, well, we could say better or worse. It depends on how you look at it.
Okay, so first of all, you were talking about eating Duracell batteries earlier and you just used the Energizer slogan. Come on, show some loyalty here. But yeah, this is, Formula One, they talk about the driver market is silly season. I don't even know what to call this next 7-week stretch we're looking at, because there's, outside of Charlotte, there's very little familiarity with any of the tracks remaining here in the regular season. Iowa, we've had a little bit of a brush with. Nashville will be new. Monza will be new. Pocono we haven't been to in a while. Indy we haven't been to in a while. Rockingham will be new. And again, that's our regular season decider. And you were talking about points earlier. Once they're made official, like if the numbers I have are right here, you're going to see a bit of movement here, and it's, going to spark some interest, I think.
As a matter of fact, yes, there's one position in particular that is certainly going to be interesting, but we're going to show all that off on our social media pages later this week. The race results will come out tomorrow. We'll get some standings going out, hopefully on Thursday, and then we'll be getting into previewing the Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway next Tuesday night on May 14th. So it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic. Next Tuesday night here on the Canadian eMotorsports Network YouTube channel, we will be live with coverage from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway here on iRacing for round 9 of 22 here in Season 5 of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series. So that does it for tonight's live production. On behalf of the entire Canadian eMotorsports Network, alongside me, Jordy Kerher, from the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada. He's been here since the very beginning. The whole competition committee, all sponsors and partners, and everybody else involved within the network, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to another live production of Canadian eMotorsports Network Action. Your voice that you're hearing, I'm Regan McCauley, signing off on behalf of the network. We'll see you all next week for the Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mark it on your calendars, Tuesday, May 14th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic. You will not want to miss a race of agility and endurance, knowing what we had last year in the 2023 World 300. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's event. And again, we'll see you all next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.